Every field service management software in 2026 has some AI. Some can rewrite a customer message, some can summarize a call, some can answer the phone, draft a code, and recommend an automation or help move an appointment. So the question is no longer does this software have AI? The question is almost useless at this point. The better question is what can AI actually understand? What can it safely do? And how far can it carry the work before another human needs to get involved in it? And that is what I want to explain in this video, because the term AI native is starting to mean everything at this point and therefore almost nothing. By 2026, and this is not a small category trend, Jobber is talking about AI. They have AI receptionists, they have code drafting, automations, every single thing. Then Housecall Pro has this AI team which they say for customer service, reporting, coaching, marketing. Salesforce is putting agents into scheduling and field service workflows. The direction is real and honestly it is good for the industry. But having AI features does not automatically make a field service platform AI native. My definition is very simple. AI native field service software is designed in a way so that an AI agent can understand the operating context of the business, use real tools inside the system, continue a workflow across time, and take the next safe action under the rules set by the company. It is not about having the smartest chatbot. It is about having the architecture underneath the chatbot and how scalable that is. And I want to make one thing very clear. AI native does not mean a company was founded last year in 2026 once the AI hype was started. An older platform can build a strong agent architecture. A brand new startup can still put a chat window over a basic database and call it AI native. The age of the software is not the test. The depth of which the AI can operate into is the test. Traditional field service softwares were designed in a way where humans were the ones who were clicking around the interface. For example, customer calls. A CSR opens the customer record. The CSR creates the request. A dispatcher checks the schedule and someone creates the estimate, someone else follows up, and then a technician on the site from the mobile app completes the visit and another person has to prepare the invoice. So if you see this workflow, there are many handoffs. First of all, the CSR who receives the call, they use a system by, for example, Podium or Ring Central connected to Service Titan. Once they do that, they just create the request and their part is done. The next step is the dispatcher who has to take all the context that the CSR put in and then make the assumptions based on their institutional knowledge and then put it on the calendar. Now the software stores the results of those decisions, but a lot of reasoning which I'm talking about is it lives in the CSR's head, it lives in the dispatcher's head, it lives in various people's head. The dispatcher knows that Ryan is great at heat pumps, but should not be sent to commercial refrigeration call. The office manager knows that the zip code is technically outside the service area, but because it creates too much drive time. The owner knows that the replacement inquiry should become an estimate appointment, while a no cooling call should become a service request. The CSR knows which pricing questions can be answered and which one require a technician on site. When that context is not structured inside this operating system, an AI layer can sound intelligent and still be operationally weak. It can summarize the call, but it cannot confidentially decide what should happen next. It can suggest an email that to reply back, but it does not know whether the estimate was already approved before writing the email. It can recommend a time, but it may not know the service area, crew capacity, skill requirement, and equipment dependency. That brings me to the first test of AI native software, which is context. Can the AI use the same operating context that your best employee uses? That includes the customer service location, equipment history, requested service, price book, estimates, jobs, every single thing that exists in your CRM. Is the AI able to understand it? And this is why at Field can we keep stressing about the data model, because the data model matters so much in 2026. If the software only has a customer, a job, and a calendar entry, and the agent has to vet very little surface to do reasoning over, then the software is not AI native. If the software cannot let you customize the beneath data model, for example, if you are a commercial business, you have a client who can have multiple properties, each property have multiple units, and each unit can have multiple equipment. Now if you have to place this in Jobber or Housecall Pro, it's a nightmare. And that is why what you do is you come up with workarounds that, hey, I'm just going to name this xyz, I'm going to name this xyz1, and that's how I'm going to operate the system. But AI doesn't operate like that. It doesn't understand. So that is why you need a software whose data model is customizable, because AI cannot reliably operate a business basically if it doesn't have the business context that the software itself cannot represent. And the second test is action. A lot of softwares can answer a question. Fewer systems let the AI create or update the actual operational record. Can it create the customer? Can it create the request? Can it draft an estimate or a price approved item in the price book? Can it reschedule a visit if the weather goes wrong? Can the data model be customized, and on top of it, all of these actions still be done? The difference is important. If the AI tells you CSR, you should create a request and schedule this customer tomorrow, it has provided assistance. If it validates the customer, checks the rules, creates the request, and proposes or books an allowed time, it has performed work. And that does not mean every action should automatically happen. In field camp, for example, an agent can draft an estimate before, for example, from the business's service area and price book context, but the correct boundary may still be human review before the estimate is sent. And I've created another video to show this example where the AI keeps the estimate ready for the human to review it or edit it. And AI native does not mean removing the approval process. It means making the approval part of the architecture instead of forcing someone else to redo the work. And the third test is continuity. Real field service work does not happen in one prompt. A lead comes in tonight, the customer replies tomorrow morning, and an estimate is sent 2 days later. The customer accepts it next week. The visit changes, the technician adds the notes, and invoices get paid after another conversation. An AI native system needs to preserve this context across that life cycle, no matter how long it goes. It should be able to start with an event, not only when somebody opens a chat box, but a website request can trigger a qualification agent. A sent estimate can trigger a follow-up cadence. A customer reply or status change can stop that cadence. A scheduling disruption can trigger a recommendation of a reviewed dispatch change. The stop condition is just as important as the trigger, and an agent that sends the follow-up is easy to demo. An agent that knows when the customer replied, the estimate was approved or declined, the work was booked, why it was booked, and the record was converted is much more useful. And the last fourth test, actually the second last, is the authority. Every AI teammate needs a job description. So it needs to know which tools it can use automatically, which actions require approval, and what information it should never invent, and when the work must go to human. And AI CSR may be allowed to answer questions, validate a service area, collect details, and create a request. It may need approval before sending a complex estimate, for example. The handoff needs to be included in the context already collected. So if a customer has to repeat the address, the equipment problem, the preferred time, and the entire conversation, then the system did not really complete the handoff. And the fifth test is visibility. If an AI agent takes an action inside an operating system, the business needs to see what happened, which event started the work, which context did the agent use, what memories did it use, which tool did it call. So you would not need to hire a human teammate and give them unlimited access with no supervision, right? So no active history, no the context, no visibility means that the AI system is just an AI chatbot. So let me pull out of this into one field service example and what an AI native system can do. A customer contacts an HVAC company at 9:40 at night and says, my AC is running, but the house is getting warmer. I am at XYZ Oak Street. Can someone come tomorrow morning? In basic software, that becomes a form submission, voicemail, or a message for the office. Somebody picks it up for the next morning and starts the process of intake. But in an AI native system, the message, for example, actually let's do the AI-assisted system. The message may be summarized and the system may draft a reply that is useful, but the office still owns the workflow. AI-assisted systems, these are the second layer, and most softwares like Job or Housecall Pro, etc., they may fit into this category. And an AI native workflow, the intake agent asks the missing questions right at night, checks whether the address is inside the service area, identifies the correct service, and looks at the allowed availability, creates the right request or booking. If the situation should become an estimate, Another configured agent can prepare a draft from company's service and price book context for human review. If the estimate is sent but remains open, a follow-up workflow can continue the approved channel and stop when the customer replies, approves, declines, books, or moves to the next stage. If tomorrow's schedule changes, the dispatch layer can use the job requirements, technician skills, etc. to recommend the next move. The human dispatcher can review the decision where the judgment is required. Notice what makes this workflow AI native. It is not the voice, it is not the chat bubble, it is not one generated paragraph, it is a connection between context, tools, event permissions, memory, stop conditions, and human judgment. And that is why also at Field Camp, we do not want to build more software for people to click through. We want to build an Field OS where a company can structure how it operates, then add AI teammates that can execute the parts of operating playbook 24 hours a day. We have spent more than a year building towards this architecture. The important part is not that a new model comes out and we need to make every feature like change, etc. The important part is we build the OS on top of which, as the models get better, the capability of an AI native software gets better as well. Now, if you want this implemented for your business, we should have a chat. But this was a quick explanation of what an AI native software means in 2026.